In this video, we're going to find a power series for ln of 1 over x. So we know that 1 over x is the same thing as writing 1 over 1 minus x. And this will be equal to the sum as n equals 0 to infinity of 1 minus x to the n. This is also the sum as n equals 0 to infinity. Take the negative 1 to the n out, leaving us with x minus 1 to the n. So when I integrate both sides, we get ln of x equals the sum, as n goes from 0 to infinity, negative 1 to the n, x minus 1 to the n plus 1 over n plus 1 divided by the derivative of x plus 1 minus 1, which is 1. So if we plug in ln of 1 over x, we'll get the sum, so n equals 0 to infinity, negative 1 to the n, 1 over x minus 1 to the n plus 1 over n plus 1. We can rewrite this to be the sum from n equals 1 to infinity, negative 1 to the n minus 1, 1 over x minus 1. So this will be 1 over x minus x to the n over n. This is the sum, n equals 1 to infinity, of negative 1 to the n minus 1 over n times 1 minus x to the n over x to the n. We can take a negative 1 out, so this would be negative 1 times the sum from n equals 1 to infinity of negative 1 to the n times 1 minus x to the n over n x to the n. We can combine these two to be negative the sum n equals 1 to infinity of x minus 1 to the n over nx to the n. And that is the power series for ln of 1 over x.